Hex Kittens! Welcome back to Knitting's a Drag. I'm your hostess, AlexisHex, and today we're going through my yarn haul from the yarn crawl. Alright, so thank you for coming back to my channel to see my wonderful yarn haul. If you like my channel, try to give me a like, subscribe, maybe pick up a t-shirt on my Redbubble shop. All of that helps keep the channel going and going and going. So if you have the time, give me a follow, maybe buy some merch. But now we'll get on with what you're really here for. The yarn. So my first stop on the yarn crawl was the Blooming Spindle. So at the Blooming Spindle, I got all of the official yarn crawl merch. So I got the tote bag, I got the zipper pouch, I got stitch markers, because stitch markers always disappear and you can never have enough. I got the little iron-on patch, and then I also got a Blooming Spindle bag, because again, you can never have enough project bags. So that was the haul from the first shop, the Blooming Spindle. My next stop was Yarnify, and I picked up this skein of Knitted Witch sock in the color Bad Feminist, because how pretty is this? I could not. It spoke to me and it said, buy me. And I did. I'm nothing if not attentive, and I listen. But that was what I picked up on my second stop. From there I went to Nina, and then from Nina I got this zebra sock from Misfit Yarns, and it's a beautiful purple, as you can see. Gorgeous yarn. Then I saw this other yarn, and I was like, ooh, I could see instantly it was going to be a shawl. So I got 3 colors, because I figured I don't have the plan yet for what it'll be, but these colors, it's all from Perennial Yarn. So I'm like, these 3 together are going to become a phenomenal shawl. So, yes. So I was like, can you believe it? Look at, yeah, such pretty yarn. I also got a gauge swatch measure. I just thought that was really cute, and it's always helpful to check your gauge and see if everything's working out right. And then the people at Nina were super sweet, and they actually just gave me this little Nina tote bag. And again, you can never have too many bags for your projects. So I was very excited, and that was what I got at Nina. The next up was Firefly Fiber Arts Studio, and I got this lovely yarn. It is from Cowgirl Blues. And I just thought this is my color. It's reds, blacks, white. I'm like, yes. So gorgeous. And I'm like, one of my rules of thumbs too is when you're doing a yarn crawl, a skein of sock yarn is perfect because you always know there's a full project in one skein. So if you're not sure what kind of project you want to make, one of these will always be a project. So that's always a great tip for doing a yarn crawl and you want to get something. Also, if you're on vacation, that's my vacation tip too. That always helps. And then I also found this cute pouch there, this little, for your notions and a little extra double pointed needles and things. And it was also book themed, as you can see. It's gorgeous, and since the theme of the crawl was supporting the Chicago Public Libraries, I thought, absolutely, that has to be the one. Then I went to Sister Art Studio, and they had a trunk show from Dye Mad Yarns, and look at this color. It is called Let's Go Party, and it's a Barbie themed colorway. And if you look real closely, you can see up here there is a stitch marker of a high heel that also came with it. And I was like, stitch marker and yarn? Sold! And of course, who isn't Barbie crazy right now? So this had to come with me. My last stop on day 1 was at Knit One, and I got this from Stitch Stuff Yarn, which was a trunk show they had going on while they were there, and I was like, isn't this pretty as salt? It's fluffy, and it's actually called Fluff Stuff. It's a lace weight, it's a baby string alpaca and silk. It is so soft, and I was like, oh, there's a cute shawl gonna be in here or something. I'm just like, this is, I couldn't put it down. I'm like, and it's just so pretty. It's all the light colors in it. I was like, sold. And so that was the what I got for day 1 of the crawl. So let me show you what I got on day 2. Alright, so then on day 2, we started up at Evanston Stitchworks. So I saw this, and this is my friend's dyeing company, Gnome Depot, and it was a little yarn tasting. So there's 5 little mini skeins of some of the yarns and colorways, so you can kind of play with it and see how they work up. And I'm like, how fun is that? Also, if you were to use it during the yarn crawl, the price of this would then be applied if you went and bought a full skein of one of the yarns in the tasting, which I'm like, what an incredible idea. But I'm like, I thought it was really cute, and it'll help support a friend, so you can't go wrong with something like that. And then I walked back and found this case. Probably at least, I went and picked up at least 4 or 5 times. This cute little kitty. I was like, oh, I love a good little Notions case. So I picked those up. So that was what I got from Evanston Stitchworks. The next stop, we went to 3 Bags Full out in Northbrook, and I found a book for myself. One of the Nora books. I am a huge fan of Nora, so when I saw the Nora book, I was like, ooh, I love to knit Nora, perfect. And it was like in their little sale section of books, so I was like, come on, $5 for a Nora book? I would have been stupid not to get it, and I'm not stupid. Alright, so the final stop of the day was at Woolen Company. So I was lucky to find a couple really cool books. I got this one. It's like 4 men's sweaters, because under all this, a man. I found this really beautiful book of hats from Malabrigo. And I love a good hat. Hats are fun. They're so fast. Everything in that book was gorgeous. And then I found another one that has some really great men's sweaters in it. So I was like, whenever I see a book that has good men's sweaters, I always snatch it up, because some men's sweaters, I'm like, what were they thinking when they designed this? But this was gorgeous, so I'm like, had to have that. And then I picked up these 2 yarns to pair together to do the free crawl pattern that they were doing at Woolen Company. I just thought this was really pretty from Hedgehog Fibers. It's a kid silk lace, so it's a nice mohair and silk. And then I'm going to pair it with this Ultra Alpaca Light, so that it becomes like the right weight, and then it will be soft and kind of give this extra little bit of little pops of color and softness to it. So I really liked their pattern, and I was like, well, these will be perfect for that. So that is what I got on day 2. Alright, so then day 3, here's what I got. We started string theory. So I got this beautiful yarn, because they had a pattern that was designed by one of the people at the store, where you take it and you base it on the sections of color as you're knitting, and how you change up what the stitches are, and there was different textures and it played to the different colors. So I was like, fun. I hadn't really seen anything like that before, so I had to get that so that I could make that pattern, and then I, of course, got the pattern to go with it. And then they had another shawl pattern up on the wall that I really liked, so I got these 2 to go and make that pattern, and along with the shawl pattern, because I like, when you can find a pattern you actually really want to make, and then you get the yarn, it's always good, instead of just buying yarn randomly. Not that we all don't do that, and I'm not judging, because Lord knows there's plenty in this haul that was bought because, ooh, pretty. Alright, so after string theory, we went to Yarns Untold. I found this. It's from Northwoods Fibers. They were the only ones in the state that carry this. They're from Wisconsin, so our neighbors to the north, but I just thought it was really beautiful. It's their aspen fingering. It's live colorfully is the color way, and I'm like, that's what I do. My whole life is about living colorfully, so I thought that was beautiful. And then I saw these, and I have a soft spot for like these really plushy, really soft kind of chenille kind of feels, and I was like, ooh, this is pretty. So I'm having a plan on re-knitting a pattern I designed a long time ago of a little monster named Derb from my comic Skin and Bones, and I figured this would be fun to knit up and kind of strand it with something else just to give a little bit of texture and softness to a cute toy that I really like. So that's why I got those. So I'm like, again, I had some patterns, ideas in mind, but again, I can always find a way to use yarn, so it's not hard to think of those ideas. After that, we went to Idea Studio. So the first thing I got was they had, when you walked in, they had all these sections based on different types of books, like if you like fantasy or art or animals. So in their art section, they had these kits of where you could knit little lips and their pins based on a work of Dolly's where it was like rubies and pearls. So it's like a sparkly yarn, and it has all of the little things in it. So I can't wait till it says it can make like 5, pins. I'm like, how cute would this be for costumes? So I got that. And again, I had another cute book with like men's sweaters. So I was like, ooh, I guess I'm in a sweater mood. I haven't knit a sweater in a while, but maybe it's time. So I got those from Idea Studio. So that was a big success. Then the next thing I got was from a TLD. And this was really beautiful. This purple blue boucle yarn, and it's from Purple Cat Art, which is the brand of the owner of TLD. So this is something that Tammy dyed herself, and it's just so pretty. Look how pretty it is. It's so gorgeous. And I was just like, I like texture. It's soft, and the colorway spoke to me. The minute I saw it, I kept coming back to it, and I was like, well, when you come back to something like 3 or 4 times, it's yours. And as I used to tell people when I worked at a yarn shop, there's nothing worse than when someone else would go home with your yarn. So I had to buy it so no one else went home with my yarn. The final stop for this day then was we went to Die Hard Yarns, and I found these 3 yarns. They're from the Periwinkle Sheep. They're neon, they're bright, they're stripy, they got little like striping kind of twists on it. I saw them, I was like, oh my god. Pairing them together, making a shawl of some sort at some point. I kept going, I love it, like kind of bright highlighter yellow. I keep being really drawn to that lately. And then also this was like one of my school colors, like my freshman year of high school. We were the Tigers, so I'm like, oh, kind of it called to me. So I was like, maybe I'll do like some sort of like school themed stuff later on for the channel. I don't know, but I just knew that these 3 together was going to be something, and I couldn't leave without them. Alright, so then on the final day of the crawl, my first stop was at Llama Llama Ding Dong. And I started with this bag. I was like, I love anything with sheep on it. Being a knitter, I collect little sheep, so I was like, little sheep bag, red's my favorite color, and the little hearts on the sheep, including his face. I was like, super cute. Then I got a little zipper pouch with their logo on it. I got a couple skeins of the self-striping Riot from King Cole Yarn. I was like, ooh, it's really pretty. So I was like, I know I could make something out of that, like some neon striping. I just was like, ooh, had to have it. Then they had the brand RMR Yarns, which is what they dyed there, that was local to them. That was their own line of yarn. And even though the store's closing, they'll still be doing this brand of yarn, so I'm really excited just to work with this and play with it. But I saw this, I was like, ooh, kind of like this like lemon lime, kind of like ripening banana color. I was just like, ooh. It's not something I normally pick, this like, together with like the little bits of brown. I don't know, it just spoke to me. So I was like, have to have that. I'm like, I haven't had a pair of socks in a while, so that was what I had to get for that. And then, I found this, a wrist ruler. So it's a little ruler that goes on your wrist. It was like, I don't know if I need it, but I know I did not need it, so I had to get it. And then before I left, they gave me these skeins, because they're like, do you want to design something for us? So I'm like, of course. So they picked up these 2, which you can see are beautiful and sparkly, and then I was like, maybe we could do a shawl. And then I said, let's grab a gray in the same base to like help kind of pair it. So that gray with a color pop is always nice. So Eventually I'll be designing something in this. I'm not quite sure what, but I'm going to play around, probably a shawl, because I do love a good shawl. But we'll see what I can do with these 3 colors from their yarn. And that was such a sweet gift. They were like so nice to me when we walked in. They had been following my Instagram journey through the crawl, so that was a whole lot of fun. The next stop then was Yarns to Die For. And I found stuff to go for patterns. I found 2 patterns I fell in love with while I was there. One was a shawl made in this beautiful like self-striping with like tinsel mixed into the yarn. I thought this was so gorgeous. I had to get that. And the other was a hat pattern that uses like this kind of ombre striping yarn against this other color yarn to make the background. So gorgeous. And again, I really liked that I found a lot of patterns I actually want to do, so I have some projects in mind, which is always a nice thing. The final stop, again, for me was Elgin Network, so we had went back to it for the final stop. So the first thing I got was they had a couple, again, I found some really good projects there. They had a cute little shawl, but they did little kits for it. This little bag, the logo was designed by the owner's son. So it came with the pattern, and then I got this beautiful pink yarn. It's silk and alpaca, and so I'll make the cute little shawl with that. I'm like, how could you not? Then they had another shawl that I really liked, and it was made out of this Wonderland yarns. This color is called Unicorn, and it's just like this soft black that has like a little tinsel flecks in it, and it's super shiny, but kind of like subtle. It's really beautiful, and it's really soft. It's silk and kid mohair and a little bit of nylon, and it's, oh, beautiful. So I was like, oh, I have to make that pattern as well. Then I had to go back and get this. I saw this cup, and of course, I'm the rainbow sheep in my family. So I was like, I probably really didn't need another mug, but I needed this mug. And then they had these cute little sheep figurines. So I had to get this little sheep, since I collect sheep. I know right where they're gonna go. And then the last thing I got was a kit. If any of you are familiar with Mochi Mochi Land, my friend Anna designs all those toy patterns, and they're beautiful and cute. And they had one for her pattern Boo, the bat, and it came with like these little bats in it, and it has all the yarn and stuffing you need to make the pattern. So I was like, toys, again, helping out friends, you know, supporting everybody. I was like, how could I not? Plus it's bats. It's freaking bats. I love Halloween. Alright, well that is it for my Yarn Crawl Yarn Haul. Remember to like and subscribe, share this video with a friend, and come back for more yarny fun. And until next time, stay hexy. Bye.